If you've ever watched someone grieve and still have to keep a family together, this story will feel painfully familiar. Two stories, one of a son laid to rest, and another of a marriage breaking apart, collide in ways no one expected. Don't click away, because what happens next changes how the world sees Kody Brown forever. Part 1. Meet the family at the heart of our story. Kody Brown and Janelle Brown, parents to 6 children together, part of a polygamous reality TV family that captured the world's attention. Among their children was their son, Garrison Brown Bright, funny, at times restless. In March 2024, at age 25, Garrison died by suicide. For Janelle and Kody, the decision of where to bury him became deeply personal. They chose Wyoming, the state of Kody's roots, of family history, of home. It might seem like the end of a chapter, but the real story was just beginning. Stay with us. What happened in the gravesite that no one expected will shock you. Why Wyoming? Kody grew up in Lovell, Wyoming. This land, these mountains, the ranch life, they're part of his story. Janelle. The Browns have deep roots in Wyoming. Kody's dad and my mom are buried there. For them, it wasn't just a burial place. It was bringing their son home. Candidly, Kody asked, "I want to take my boy home." He dug the grave himself. Physically, the earth gave back this final act of love. But beneath the outward gesture lay In the weeks after the funeral, Janelle admitted, "We did everything we could, but sometimes that isn't enough." As the burial drew near, the family carried more than an urn. They carried expectations, regrets, love, and the heavy silence of loss. In the reality TV telling, the Brown family was always open, but loss exposes what cameras often gloss over. Kody and Garrison's relationship was complicated. COVID-era restrictions, ideological divides, distancing. Kody later said, "We didn't get a chance to really make things right." Janelle said she had no idea how badly her son was suffering. He had a path he was excited about, so it was such a shock. Meanwhile, the decision to bury in Wyoming unleashed internal pressures. Who decides what home means? Who holds the legacy? And the cameras? They were there. The show filmed parts of the preparation, the trip, the moment of digging. Some family members bristled at the intrusion. Audiences around the country watched. Some critics asked, "Is private grief being filmed for public consumption?" The tension built. Grief versus showmanship, memory versus spectacle, home versus obligation. And then the twist. What the family revealed at the gravesite caught many off guard. The day of burial, the family gathered at the grave of Penrose Cemetery in Byron, Wyoming. The urn resembled a Viking ship, a symbol of voyage, of passing. Kody placed his son beside not only family, but legacy. His own mother, Grandma Cheryl, also buried there. "I'm putting Garrison in Grandma's arms," he said. And then, the twist. According to family statements, the burial wasn't just a final resting place, it was a reconciliation in miniature. Janelle handed the urn to Kody with symbolic meaning. She was entrusting her son into his hands, bridging the gap they'd never closed while he lived. Viewers expected a story of sorrow. Instead, they witnessed one of subtle healing. Amid the raw grief, there was a moment of unity. This quiet twist, it wasn't the blame game. It was a father and mother, the survivors of a son, choosing peace over pain. It was this moment that changed how fans saw the story. What happened next? The family moved forward, but the world responded. Janelle posted, "It's taken a while to accept the fact that, in the end, we did everything we could." On the forum of fans, some applauded the Brown family's raw honesty. Others criticized the show for using a tragedy for ratings. One Reddit user wrote, "That is what they are doing. They are all going to Wyoming." The main backlash. Did airing the funeral on television exploit the family's grief? Did the reality show format undermine genuine mourning? Some argued the burial scene was respectful, viewed from a distance, and only with family permission. Others questioned the moral boundaries of filming such moments. For Janelle and Kody, though, the choice was made. They would use the platform to raise awareness. Janelle spoke directly about men's mental health, how she wishes she'd known more, how parents should keep talking. The story became bigger than one family. It became a mirror for what many parents fear and what many young men hide. So what do we take away from this story of loss, of home, of burial, of a twist no one saw coming? For the Brown family, bringing their son home was about roots, but it also was about healing and unity. Or viewers, especially women, mothers, sisters, daughters, there's a message. Keep the conversation alive. Ask the hard questions. Don't assume what you don't see. And for everyone touched by grief, peace may not mean closure. It may mean acceptance. It may mean letting someone go and trusting they're finally home. If you or someone you love is struggling with mental health, especially men who rarely speak up, reach out. Don't wait for the fatal twist. The number is 988 in the U.S. Visit 988lifeline.org. If you're a parent, sit with your child. Ask openly, "How are you doing? Is there something you're not telling me?" The path to healing often begins with one brave question. And finally, if you're a fan of shows like Sister Wives, remember that behind every scene is a real-life human being. Respect their story. Honor their loss. As one final thought, Garrison's story might have ended too soon, but his memory brought two parents back together in a way the cameras didn't expect. Part 2. To understand now, we must go back. Kody Brown once stood at the head of a family unlike any other on television. 4 wives, Mary Brown, Janelle Brown, Christine Brown, and Robyn, and 18 children. The plural marriage world was his comfort zone. A shared faith, a shared mission, a rotating schedule of homes. But as the years passed, cracks began to show. The magnitude of trying to keep multiple marriages alive took its toll. In the words of Robyn, who entered the marriage in 2010, "No one should be married while they're going through a divorce." The shockwave of 3 marriages ending left Kody in uncharted territory. 1 wife, many memories, and a man forced to reinvent himself. What no one expected was that Kody's greatest challenge wouldn't be losing wives. It would be losing himself. When Mary, Janelle, and Christine parted ways with the Brown family, the plurality ended, and so did the blueprint that Kody knew. Robyn, who once embraced the idea of polygamy, found herself in a scenario she never fully asked for, but a scenario she now had to navigate. Monogamy was never something I envisioned for myself, she admitted. For Kody, going from many to one was a seismic shift. In the January 2025 episode, Robyn confessed, "We're probably doing the worst we've ever done in our marriage." The walls he'd built across homes, wives, and schedules suddenly came crashing down, and the question became, who is Kody now when he isn't managing multiple relationships? I can't look myself in the mirror and say, "Hey dude, I love you." The shift to monogamy forced a reckoning with identity, role, purpose, and the trauma of a plural past that wouldn't fade quietly. And this is where the emotional collision builds, past-present pressure. The question, will it crack the foundation or rebuild it? Kody's trauma isn't just from the marriage's ending. It's from what was never truly healed. In a reveal on Sister Wives, he reflected on a college romance, calling it devastating as it collided with his religious beliefs. This past seeped into his adult life. The dissolution of 3 marriages in quick succession felt like a domino effect. Robyn said, "It's been hell." Meanwhile, the strain on their children and ex-wives became visible. Forgiveness, resentment, sidelong glances. It all played out on screen and off. Robyn voiced concern. "I'm having to consistently make sure that he is not sabotaging our relationship." For Kody, the burden of being the man who had many weighed heavy. He questioned his identity. He questioned his ability to love. Now, monogamy demands vulnerability. It demands consistency. It demands admission. And that's where the tension boiled. Can Kody truly step into a monogamous marriage while still carrying the ghosts of his plural past? The moment of reckoning is near, when Kody must choose which version of himself he'll live, father of many or husband of one. Here's the twist. Despite the shift to monogamy, Kody confesses he might still be drawn to polygamy, or at least the idea of it. In season 20, he revealed his primary motivation for possibly adding another wife is physical attraction. Robyn responded bluntly, calling his reasoning the very worst reason. Suddenly, the narrative flips. We assumed monogamy was the destination. Instead, we see a man torn, one foot planted in the past, one trying to walk forward. For Robyn, the revelation lands like a punch. She thought they were rebuilding together, but now she wonders if she's losing him or being left behind. And Kody's existential crisis isn't just about fidelity, it's about identity. He told Robyn, "I need you to let the past go for me and not hold it against me." In that moment, we witnessed the true conflict. The wife who remained, and the husband who still has pieces of someone else to bury or resurrect. Viewers reacted. Some feel empathy, seeing a man collapsing under the weight of his choices. Others feel betrayal, seeing promises of monogamy compromised. On Reddit, shock rippled. "They're talking about bringing in another wife? I thought he was done." Critics questioned, was monogamy ever meant for Kody? Was it ever real? Or just a stopgap? Robyn's supporters rallied. She deserves better than being the second act. Voices rose online about control dynamics in their marriage, referencing claims of Robyn considering leaving due to Kody's behavior. Meanwhile, the former wives weighed in, the children watched, and the audience consumed every moment. For Robyn, the backlash isn't just from fans, it's internal. She's losing respect for Kody. I'm having to consistently make sure that he is not sabotaging our relationship. The backlash is powerful. A family once seen as resilient now exposed, fractured, raw, real. And now the audience asks, where do they go from here? This is more than a reality TV story. It's a lens on what happens when an identity built on many becomes one-to-one. For women watching, mothers, sisters, daughters, you recognize the gravity of commitment, the cost of change, the courage it takes to stay when the foundation shifts. If you're watching someone you love struggle, with identity, with change, with the weight of their history, be their mirror. Offer space, offer listening, because often the loudest crisis is in the silence. As for Kody and Robyn, they stand at a crossroads. One road leads to rebuilding trust, redefining marriage, facing the past with honesty. The other leads to repeating patterns. You've watched their journey, now reflect on yours. What does commitment mean to you? How much of your past are you carrying into your present? Let's deep dive in full details. Part 3. For years, the Brown family was a public spectacle of plural marriage. 4 wives, 18 children, multiple homes, constant motion. But that world began to unravel. In November 2021, Christine Brown left. In late 2022, Janelle Brown and Mary Brown followed. The plural experiment collapsed, leaving Kody with only Robyn. Meanwhile, his son Garrison struggled. He had dreams, but also demons. His relationship with his father was reportedly strained. The setting buries a heavy metaphor. The Browns decide to bury Garrison in Wyoming on land tied to Kody's roots. A final act of homage, but also of mourning. In the next minutes, you'll see how the grave-digging scene became symbolic and triggered questions about identity, legacy, and the cost of a home. As Kody said, I don't even know if it's honor. It's mourning. The suspense builds. Can the father bury the past and step into a new future? The answer is not yet clear. Garrison Lee Brown was born in 1998 in Lovell, Wyoming, part of a large brood under Kody's plural roof. Summers on the Wyoming ranch shaped him. Janelle said, Wyoming is probably the closest place we have to roots. We used to go every summer, and it was just like, you went to the ranch to learn how to work. He enlisted in the U.S. National Guard, loved cats, dreamed of a business called Bob's Floral, with tropical shirts. But beneath the surface, he struggled with mental health issues, alcohol, and a fractured connection to his father. On March 5, 2024, he died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. His blood alcohol level was 0.307%, nearly 4 times the legal limit. The timing crushed his mother, Janelle. She admitted during the funeral, I'm just kind of numb. I didn't really have any feelings. Soon we'll look at the burial ceremony and how it became the most raw, public-private moment